I'll tell you, with Osiris being drafted that early by Obey, though, I'd possibly look at taking that away from them more. It looks something that maniaKK really wants to just play all the time.
Yeah.
If you draft a solo lane that early, it's kind of giving you an instigation that this is the plan. I am playing this.
Yeah.
And when you get run down like that so many times by maniaKK, who was zoning 3 at multiple times, maybe you look at taking something like that away.
And he soloed Wlfy towards the end there. I mean, he had a huge level disparity in his favor and a huge goal disparity as well, but it still says a lot that a level 20 Guardian can handle a mage at the 30-minute mark, especially a mage like Scylla.
Well, Rival will take first pick this game, as well as then draft themselves Khepri, which is going to switch things up a little bit. They had the Ataraxia last game, and I guess Callus, to be fair, I didn't really feel Callus made an impact that game either.
No.
Rival are correct in changing things up maybe there.
Yeah, just getting a little bit more. I mean, Ataraxia has so much early pressure anyways, and Khepri is also early pressure, but it's a little bit more backline protection, and that's what Rival was lacking in that game. They had a lot of backline dive, but PrettyPriMe just stayed alive all the time, so it didn't really matter. They needed someone to peel for maniaKK. They had someone get CaptainTwig off of their backline. Khepri does that just about as well as anybody.
Well, a lot of things getting through here. Fafnir, Zeus, Medusa for Obey now locked in. So they do get Medusa and Zeus, which we've seen are top picks.
Yeah.
However,
and Fafnir.
Ullr's done very solid for himself. He's got a very high pick rate. I don't know how well his win rate has done overall, but he's had a lot of picks.
He has. It's been like flavor picks. Like certain players like to play him. And if I'm not mistaken, Wlfy is pretty comfortable on him in the middle lane as well. So we could see him take that Hunter into the mid lane, trying to get a little bit better in the mid game than he had on that Scylla.
There's that Osiris spam, but here we go. The first Kuzenbo of the SPL. Spicy.
And I anticipate that's going to be in the solo lane, though. That could be Twigs. Like, let's be real. It could be. If someone was going to do it, it would have to be Twig, right?
Or Weaken.
Or Weaken.
Weaken over Twig.
Yeah, but like...
We can always run some crazy junglers. He's done
Khepri,
he's done
Kumbakarna.
Like, you always know that's the case.
Nemesis,
talk about
crazy
Hebo,
jungler.
Hebo locked in for Rival. That's interesting.
Okay, so they still have the double, so it's got to be Hebo jungle. So it's going to be Ullr mid, Hebo jungle, Artemis in the duo lane, and then Deathwalker on probably his most comfortable god in the solo in that Bellona.
Okay, so Odin's the final pick. Odin solo up against Bellona, or is it Odin jungle with Kuzenbo solo?
Oh, I hope it's Kuzenbo jungle, man. That'd be hype.
Why do you want Kuzenbo jungle so much?
Because it'd be funny. It would just.
Why is it funny?
Because he's got his little turtle and he just like punches the buff camps.
It's a nene.
For him.
It's not a turtle. It's a nene kappa.
Kappa.
Kappa. Obey then with the Kuzenbo. I'm excited to see where they go. They have gone for what we discussed in game 1 about Obey, where they've gone for a triple tank front line, which is something that they like to go to.
That is. And again, this is Obey has already secured their not only their spot at LAN, but their seed at LAN as well. So if they've got room to experiment, if they've got some compositions they've been talking about, well, they can absolutely work on them.
They may be experimenting right now, because look where Deathwalker is. He has teleport and he has Ninja Tabby, full Ninja Tabby here.
Yeah.
Something smells cheesy.
Stinky.
I can smell
cheese?
some cheese. I don't know where from. I don't know what's going on in this one, but Deathwalker being on that side of the map with full boots tells me that they're going to try and make a play on something. I just don't know what.
I think he's gonna maybe solo red and then immediately teleport to lane to get the extra damage.
Okay, I can see that being a thing. Do the oracles maybe a fast Gold Fury out of Rival? I don't know. I'm trying to. They've not got a Wrath, so I don't think a fast Gold Fury necessarily in the cards. Prime in mid lane though, he's already had to use his Aegis there, and Hebo has Blink.
Oh, Deathwalker's around the back.
He's
not doing any buff. He's not doing any buff. Deathwalker's here. There's the slow. There's the blink. There he goes. PrettyPriMe down for the first blood. That's some delicious, yummy, yummy cheese, my friend.
And that wasn't really as cheesy as I expected it to be.
That's true. I was expecting it to be worse.
That was just an early gank that wasn't ward covered by Obey. And this is some of the things you have to do against these teams. Yeah, granted, you've got to try and make things happen in some way. Sending your solo to mid lane and not getting it telegraphed is...
No.
Not that bad.
No, it isn't. And I want to clarify, when we say cheese, I don't think that it should carry a negative connotation.
No,
it's just something
unusual.
different. Yes.
Well, something unusual.
Something different. And I think it's great. I think more teams need to do stuff like that.
Well, while that was going on, maniaKK in the jungle did go to his own blue, and I think he killed the babies in the camp before killing the blue buff, and then went to lane to push it in, realizing Deathwalker was in mid. Deathwalker got very lucky there, though, if you look at it, because he didn't even have to use his teleport to get back to this lane.
No, using that extra mobility by just finishing off the boots right away. Doesn't have to use use that teleport. So now he can farm up 800 gold, get a Death's Toll if he wants, get a Mark of the Vanguard, something to grab some tankiness, and then teleport back in.
Well, iceicebaby level 2, got first blood already. CaptainTwig's in a lot of trouble here. Needs his leap up soon to get away. Forced to meditate defensively to make sure he can survive. Meanwhile, maniaKK doing his best to farm.
Nice pressure there put on by iceicebaby and Deathwalker. And again, they just look so much more comfortable even early on here. And for me, it centers around Deathwalker playing his signature god. I mean, this is the god that he always looks the most comfortable on for me.
Yeah, the Bellona seems very, very comfortable. He will be able to sustain with the Scourge a little bit in the jungle here. Obey and Rival contesting the left-hand side of the map right now. Rival's jungle has been invaded. The red buff has been stolen by Ataraxia. And they're still trying to do this purple. They've left it really low, but will they be able to secure it themselves is the question. No, is the answer. EmilZy and Obey steal both the red and the purple now.
Definitely a win there for Obey because they are a little bit behind right now. And that is all centered around the mid and right side of the map. This is the lane that Obey has the chance to grab themselves a lead in, and that's exactly what they're doing. Sometimes that's what you got to do. If your mid lane and your solo lane or your right side jungle is starting to falter a little bit, sometimes you just got to ignore that and then play around the lane that is winning, and right now that's the duo lane for Obey.
And when you look at Rival's composition here, double hunters, Deathwalker's in trouble on the right side, but he will live. Wow, maniaKK got a lot of damage off on him there. I don't know where that came from, but that kind of tickled a little bit onto Deathwalker. It's going to force him back. But look at the comp. Double hunters with a Khepri. And not only that, you've got a Hebo. Which one do you pay attention to?
Well, which one do you save if you're Kallus? That's the other problem, is that when you've got this much damage, especially with how Deathwalker likes to play this Bellona, a little bit more damage-oriented, it's going to be difficult for Rival to peel for everyone on their team.
I am excited about one potential thing, you know. Just one. Oh, bludgeon under the tower. Deathwalker really wants his kill, and he'll get it soloed, maniaKK. Kuzenbo, yaha. Kallus is going to fall on the left-hand side to answer that back, though. 1-for-1 trade across the map in 2 different lanes. Surprised he got the kill there.
Yeah, just the overall damage. Again, Deathwalker just knows exactly how much damage he's going to do with his entire kit. A little bit surprised we didn't see maniaKK turn and just try and fight the enemy, but didn't end up working out. Vote. He could just turn and kill Ataraxia here.
This could be a mistake.
Oh, but
the meditate there was good, and the bait was even better. The hammer from EmilZy won't find it. However, underhanded tactics will.
That's the payback for the underhanded tactics in the mid lane. Brought out by Rival.
Well, in the jungle, there's a fight going on again. Twig's going to get a nice ring off onto iceicebaby, keeping him locked inside. Zeus on top of it. Baby's going to time his ult well here to try and avoid some damage, but the detonate will be waiting for the moment the ultimate is used. Prime picks himself up a kill. Next on the list, he's getting taken on a wild ride right now is Wlfy, trying to do work on this Ullr jungle. He will pick up Twig. The Bluestone coming into play, I feel, there a little bit as well. And now with the support of Kallus, Obey have forced back.
Whenever I saw Kuzenbo's reveal, the first thing I thought of when I saw his sumo push was you saying, going on a wild ride.
Is that what you thought?
Yeah.
And you got to hear it.
And I got to hear it.
You do go on a wild ride.
It's true, you do.
What you know, I'm more excited about Kuzenbo in this game.
Why's that?
Not just that it's his first game, but he's also against a Hebo. And there is a chance. There is a chance and a hope that the first competitive game that we see Kuzenbo in, Hebo one-shots himself.
That would be amazing.
How cool would that be? Hebo one-shots himself with the ultimate?
With the crushing wave.
That'd be so good. I just want to see that happen.
maniaKK has to go Thorns here, right?
Yes.
Has to.
Kuzenbo is so Kuzenbo is basically a walking Thorns bot. Is one of the ways you can do it. You can obviously put up those shield spikes any given moment, even during knock-up, anything. He's one of the only guys that has something that can get him out of that sort of CC. Mainly knock-ups. Nothing else can actually do anything. For example, you can't beads when you're knocked up. You can't ages when you're knocked up.
Well, you can beads while you're knocked up, but it just doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
sure.
Sorry. But at the same time, Kuzenbo, you can get knocked up and pop your shell spikes, and it will do something.
Oh, yeah. He's going to get water spouted, and iceicebaby's be like, I got him.
And he's like, blink, done.
I'm so excited. Now, dude, what, you know, maniaKK, if it doesn't happen, I'm just going to be disappointed.
Yeah, well, we'll find out. That's all down to how well iceicebaby plays this game on the hub war as well, compared to maniaKK's Kuzenbo mechanics. Kuzenbo's been spoke about maybe being able to run in the solo lane. Clearly, he's not terrible here. He's kept even pace with Deathwalker, even though Deathwalker did solo him. We're not trying to say that Kuzenbo works.
Right. I mean,
he's one game.
He's a Guardian. It takes a little bit longer for Guardians in the solo lane to be able to clear. Once maniaKK's able to max out that Nana Kappa, he's going to be able to clear much more effectively, and that pressure the Deathwalkers put on him in the early game won't be nearly as impactful. And as well, I love it in this composition because what Kuzenbo does very, very well is disrupt, especially in the middle of a team fight. That ultimate's insane.
There's
an
disruption over
insane
here.
ultimate here.
iceicebaby trapped in a ring. He's going to fall down anyway. Can't get his ultimate off in time either. Callus next on the list. Forced to ult himself defensively. Petrified came out. That actually hit onto Vote, and Vote's forced to use the ball. The ball went to the back line and not the front, however, which means that Twig and EmilZy can keep running them down. Wlfy gets a good axe off there as well, though. And Ataraxia's actually low, but here comes Deathwalker around the back, and Prime's in trouble.
Oh, the huge bludgeon damage, but the meditation is beautiful out of Twig, and Prime's gonna live. Ataraxia turns it around on the Deathwalker.
You just don't expect 2 meditations in the early game. I think that's the thing.
And that was EmilZy's meditation, so I'm gonna get yelled at.
There's 2 meditations as well. You know,
Sure.
your Odin's and you've got the one on Fafnir. You normally get 1. You don't normally see 2 because normally a person that would get meditation isn't playing the jungle.
Exactly, but Twig playing the warrior is able to not worry about that CC potential out of Obey nearly as much as a traditional assassin would. So he's going to be able to pick that up, and it comes out huge there as Obey snag away that Gold Fury, despite all being pretty low. A lot of that due to that meditation.
Well, maniaKK just gives an assist there to iceicebaby and Wlfy and clearing the elementals on the right-hand side. So people about to spawn for Obey right now, 6-3.
So what I was about to bring up in terms of the ultimate out of Kuzenbo, that watery grave, is that it's excellent at disrupting the middle of team fights, and that's going to be key because whenever Khepri was in the meta, it was all about how can we disrupt him when we're killing someone else. Watery Grave is just as good as, say, Hunbat's ult or something like that, where Carlos is just going to be forced to watch as one of his important hyper carries dies because he'll be CC'd while the rest of the team is killing the priority targets.
EmilZy's actually going to re-engage here. No, Ataraxia and Prime around the back. They'll invade from Rival, looking for the red buff steal. Didn't happen. Ataraxia still has that to his name as well. But yeah, I mean, Kuzenbo, the one thing about Kuzenbo that's really awkward is, like, with the Watery Grave, timing it correctly. Ring!
Blink in onto PrettyPriMe, though. iceicebaby found the knockup and the crushing wave. The Aegis wasn't good enough. Prime drops the ultimate before he falls, trying to return a little bit of damage on the team rival, but between EmilZy and Twig, there isn't enough.
The ball comes out, hits onto 2. EmilZy juggled in the air. CaptainTwig's shield will absorb a lot of damage, but not enough. EmilZy's in trouble. Round the back comes Maniac. The turtle is here. The turtle will do nothing. Oh,
no,
maybe not.
He's trying to find it. There's the maniaKK and the Watery Grave. It's a no, it's not enough. There it is. The Kappa cleans it up for Maniac. Kuzenbo on the board.
And now Wlfy's in a bit of trouble as well after biting off maniaKK, but Deathwalker has arrived now from the solo lane as well. EmilZy's still hanging around. Deathwalker was flanking around the back there looking for the pickup. Maniac isn't scared of anybody in the front lines, especially an Artemis. Hit me, Artemis, hit me. You're going to kill yourself. And so the boys of Rival have to back away there as meditation begins in mid.
And that's what Kuzenbo does. He just stands in front of you and waves.
It's not normal we do this as casters, but I'm actually just rooting for the god. I'm not rooting for a team here. But it's good to see Kuzenbo get a kill. I got excited because Kuzenbo got a kill, because it's not something you get that often.
I mean, it's the first time we've ever seen it in competitive play.
Vote versus Ataraxia, though, different story. Ultimate available for Ataraxia, but mana is an issue for both of them. It'll just come down to basics, and with minions coming in, as well as Callus joining Rival's side and Vote, it will just make Ataraxia fall back.
So if I'm Vote, I feel like I have to build lifesteal in this situation. Up against the Kuzenbo, who's going to be looking to return that majority of damage. Up against Hide of the Nemean Lion, Thorns, and Kuzenbo's Spike Shell. The best thing is lifesteal. You got to be able to heal up some of that damage you're doing to yourself.
But that's the big thing here, is where you do get that lifesteal. What you probably want to do here is wait to keep an eye on Maniac's build. Does he go for that Nemean? Does he go for the Thorns? If not, it's not as impactful as you think. It will do some damage back to you, but it's not the same level as when you get Thorns and Nemean as well.
Oh, Deathwalker pushed into tower. Maniac just looks very, very comfortable on the Scott early on, clearly understanding some of the nuances about with the turning radius of that sumo push and things along that line.
Not gonna lie though, Deathwalker kind of showed that he understands it a little bit too. He held damage to exactly the right second, but now coming in from the minions, Maniac gonna go aggressive again. The charge should be available soon, the sumo push, I should say. But a full minion wave to deal with, the Kappa will have to help him out.
Maniac just hanging out right now, almost level 12. And you're right, I do like that option for Vote to kind of wait and see.
Patience
but Artemis is so good with Devourer's Gauntlet anyways. The problem is if Artemis goes for those Devourer's Gauntlets, it's going to extend that power curve even later into the game. And you can see just how much damage Ataraxia is already doing to him and how much he's controlling that dual lane already. It may not have been the wisest decision to go for the Devourer's Gauntlet. So Vote's kind of forced to go for an Aussie.
Prime defending against 2. The blink from Ice is good. The Aegis from from Prime was even better. No damage taken there, and actually returned more than he got.
Really, really nice play from Prime, just reacting off that sound cue of the blink to make sure that he didn't take that knock-up crushing wave damage like he did earlier on in the mid lane.
And now it's a bit of an awkward moment because there's not many camps available. The Wlfy went the way of Obey a little bit earlier on. That's due to respawn shortly. And only the left-hand hop is really available for anyone to look at. But Ice making this rotation, staying in the duo lane a lot of the time now. We seem to have had a bit of a switch of the Hunters going towards mid and the Mages coming to the duo.
Well, Ataraxia, yeah, he's in mid because he's so far ahead. He's level 13. He can afford to give up that solo farm in that lane. There's the crushing wave just to get iceicebaby out of the cage. But Vote, not as lucky.
No, he's stuck in that cage, and those stacks will continue to add to him and allowing the detonate to pick him up from Prime. Meanwhile, in the jungle, Callus can't get in range, getting zoned away from EmilZy from getting the ultimate off. And the funny thing is, we spoke about Khepri in this game and how important it is with these ultimates. He's not really had a chance to get a good one off, and I've seen him miss one on the wrong target as well.
Hasn't found one quite yet, and it's not even that good of a matchup because those Zeus detonate stacks persist when someone's reviving, and you could just basically detonate them as soon as they revive.
Well, 4-man grouping for the red buff. Deathwalker has made the rotation to support his team. Instead, he's found himself in a very awkward position. A couple of hits from Death. Good bludgeon damage on to Ataraxia. A great escape from Deathwalker as well. This has actually exposed Prime a little bit, but luckily enough, the meditation comes through from EmilZy.
And there it is. Knocks him down with that maniaKK. Prime knocked up. Deathwalker trying to find it. There's the Scourge, and he will find it with the bludgeon. Deathwalker with his second kill of the game. Twig still boxing out with iceicebaby, but a nice juke gets him out of that jump.
For now, but now EmilZy's here too. iceicebaby isn't still in trouble, but does a very good job of juking backwards and forwards. Maniac is on a wild ride looking to try and pick up Deathwalker, it seemed there more than anything, but Deathwalker gets away. He's still chasing Deathwalker now. He actually teleports to the speed buff to try and catch Deathwalker, who's still around. Once he sees him in the solo lane, though, he might go over there and gank it. CaptainTwig, no! Nice cleanup from Wlfy.
The hail of arrows is there from Wlfy. 2-0 and 4 for the mid lane Hunter. Looking very, very good so far in this game. Rival only down 2 kills, right around 3,000 gold, but definitely looking much cleaner than they did last game.
Bit of a clown fiesta, though. Let's be honest, there's a lot of grouping up and random shenanigan fights here, aggro, that isn't as clean as we saw out of Obey in game 1, and still bit cleaner from Rival, I'd say, but at the same time, like, it's more of a scuffle and a brawl the whole time.
Sometimes, not every team wants to play the same style. Obey likes to play very, very calculated, wait until the mid game, and then start to brawl, group up. But Rival definitely seems to favor these sort of crazy, fast-paced, early groupings. I want to team fight you early on. This is what their team seems to excel at, and going forward, they should look to draft similar compositions that force teams into fighting them early on.
So go back, because Rival are very good at brawling. They like to skirmish, they like to brawl. And
their team fighting is good. Their team fighting is good.
Is strong, and they've kind of got that with a Hebo and with the Bellona and Ullr. But then you've got Vote there, who's kind of there for the late game. The composition drafted here works to their style, I'd say.
I would agree with that. The Vote is that fail-safe for the late game. If things don't go as planned in the early stages, then you've got that, well, at least we've got Artemis in the late game. Or even better, if things go well in the early game, you get Artemis closer to that late game.
Well, it's up to Ice, and Callus to try and defend this. The blink, he blinks into the cage, trying to get in range, and instead, he gets annihilated by Ataraxia and Prime. Now the Wlfy looks at again, Deathwalker forced to teleport in behind.
There's the bludgeon, but a good shell there, immunes a lot of that damage. Deathwalker does a great job of distracting the whole of Obey, goes up over that red buff wall, back to his team.
And now the fight continues on, because Obey have grouped together again. Maniac on zone duty, looking to go into Vote. Hit me, Vote, hit me, but the maniaKK is not doing anything right now.
Nice.
Callus, though, gets a very good ult onto Deathwalker to bring him back to life. Obey looking very strong, though, in this team fight. Rival still trying to get out.
EmilZy just jumps right on top of Vote. Deathwalker still trying to zone despite being low on HP, but Maniac's got a special delivery, and it's Wlfy.
Well, it's not going to be enough to pick up the kill just yet on either side. Deathwalker and Vote want to continue the fight, though, knowing Obey have invested a lot in this. Twig on the front line's getting invested a lot into, and Vote will pick up the kill with the in-hands. EmilZy disarmed, trying to run away. Over jumps in. Wlfy still trying to go for Prime.
He's jumping in. There's the Aegis to buy him enough time. The axe is good on the Prime, but there's the Aegis out of him. Ataraxia comes around the corner and erases him with that Petrify 2 for Ataraxia.
But Ice gets one, but he still gets dropped down straight away. Ataraxia will look for the triple onto Vote if he can get in range now. Callus on zone duty if he can, looking to body block some of these shots for Vote. Messy skirmishes again from both teams.
Again, like you talked about in game 1, Obey win a team fight. There are some low members, but they immediately peel off, go to the objective. This time, Obey continues to chase down into that tier 2 area of Rival. It ends up working out in their favor, but it's not as much of a lead as they could have earned for themselves if they just got that gold
Duo
tier.
versus duo. They still want to fight. Ataraxia, a bit of bullet that he didn't want then. Vote MBK got a lot of free damage off thanks to Callus' abduct, but Callus is now low, and it's Vote 2v1. Ataraxia Aegis is late. It was a late Aegis, but it will keep him alive. If there was Bluestone involved, that could have been a different story.
Wow. Yeah, Ataraxia just willing to continue to fight. Doesn't even worry about the abduct there from Callus. Doesn't beats it. Stays there autoing both Callus and Vote very, very low. But it's actually Ataraxia who is in the most danger of dying there, I would say.
iceicebaby could be in trouble now. Bird bomb in, and he's trapped in a ring again. Pushed into the wall, knocked. Can't do anything when you're juggled like that. Iceice falls down. maniaKK gets credit for the kill. The ultimate showing how good it can be when you trap someone in an Odin ring.
Yeah, you can trap someone anywhere with that ultimate. It doesn't matter where you are. You could feel trapped anywhere on the map with that watery grave. And maniaKK has picked up the thorns, so you know he's going to be trying to stick in front of Vote the entire game.
But the thorns and the spike shell for now. God Fury started up, reset. Now his Deathwalker's on the back line. The ball comes out and hits Prime. Prime's in a lot of trouble here. Ataraxia gets some damage off at the back, but gets invested into by Deathwalker. EmilZy forcing to collapse to stop Wlfy coming in. But Ataraxia is still in trouble here. Remember that Aegis is on cooldown.
He's trying to get away. The good body blocks from EmilZy, but it's not enough as Wlfy finds him.
But maniaKK comes through the back, gets a nice sumo charge off, not enough to pick up a kill, but it does set CaptainTwig looking for a very good bird bomb. Deathwalker's trying to get popped and trying to die, but it's not going to happen in time. maniaKK gets himself credit for the kill, and now it's Callus and Vote again, trying to turn tail and get away. Iceice, however, is on the way back on the Hebo, has Blink available.
But and the ultimate, Vote still getting chased down here by Twig. The slow is good, and the Kappa cleans it up. maniaKK with 5 kills on the Kuzenbo.
But iceicebaby as well went for the cleanup crew on EmilZy. EmilZy's just too tanky, though,
he's level 13.
Bring him down. And iceice's still level 12. Now going to get hit by a bomb. The ring is down, and here comes maniaKK again.
maniaKK's here to say it. Hit me with that water cannon. You can't. You got nowhere to go, iceicebaby. And Twig puts him down 3, 4, and 9 for the warrior in the jungle.
Now, the God Fury, though, didn't go down then, but Obey, with a couple of members on the side of Rival dead, can reinvest into it again. Wlfy on the way from the base on the Ullr, trying to come around. Callus healthy enough to try and contest too, but if anything, it would just be a steal, or at least trying to force a reset.
They have the Obey has that detonate secure potential. Wlfy was trying to seal with that bladed arrow, or the hail of arrows over the wall, but just not enough range, and I don't think it would have been enough damage either way. Obey finally secure an objective for themselves. They stop fighting for 2 seconds and steal the Gold Fury. 5,800 gold in the lead now.
29 kills in 18 minutes. That's how fast. Obey have been getting a kill a minute on average. That's how quick this game has been.
Yeah,
with the
it's been crazy.
Fighting involved in this. It also dictates how low level these players are as well. Normally, you want to be expecting about a level a minute on average of experience gain as the game goes on. Well, the highest level in the game now is 60. Which is maniaKK and Ataraxia, and they're off the pace still.
Yes, and they're still a little bit behind in terms of that level a minute pace, but it's been EmilZy who's been way ahead of basically everybody on both teams. He was ahead, he was 2 levels up on PrettyPriMe at one time. He got 2 early kills, and that Fafnir passive just really, really utilizing it very, very well, along with the Traveler Shoes.
It's not just that, it's also the Traveler Shoes, the Watcher's Gift as well, and Coerce. The sustain he's got allows him to stay in lane a lot longer. We mentioned that on Chongar in game 1. Same sort of thing with someone like Fafnir.
And he's over here helping out maniaKK this time, just trying to make sure that Deathwalker doesn't get too much pressure. Deathwalker does need to be a little bit careful, but I don't think he's too worried as Wlfy shows up.
Oh, but Wlfy's just taking a load of poke from the spike shell from maniaKK, and the thorns too! Run, Wlfy, run! The turtle did way more than you expected.
I'm so sorry, it's a joke. I didn't mean it. He does so much damage for himself. Vote just able to escape death there with that Lightning Storm detonate combination from PrettyPriMe. But again, Obey looking at the objective this time around. It's the Portal Demon, and they will secure it.
And iceice can't really do much here. Now he's in trouble because the Kappa is still hitting him over and over again, keeping vision on him from the side of Obey. Deathwalker tries to wrap around the back with a teleport again, but he's in trouble now. May need some help from Callus to get away from this if he can. Wlfy double with a bird bomb from Twiggy.
There it is, the stomp down there from Twig.
This is crazy. This is just constant fighting time and time again. Twig just made 2 guys explode in seconds. Callus, next on the list on the right-hand side, forced to ult himself. Is iceice going to go over the wall? I was thinking if iceice blinks over, he could, but they're just too healthy.
The back harpies are the ones preventing him from doing that. EmilZy just standing right in front of Callus, no worries whatsoever. Still just so much tankier than anyone on Rival can really deal with.
Well, the good news is the second tower of the game has now gone down in 20 minutes of all this fighting going on. The
31 kills.
So many kills. It's just been blood. This is when we talk about blood buffs. Sometimes the even blood buffs that result in objectives. This one for me was a blood buff that just resulted in blood.
This is
kind of how it felt so far.
Would you classify this as a slobber knocker?
I would class this as a celebration game for Obey, realizing they're #1 seed.
That's true.
And playing into Rival's playstyle, which is fight us every day. And talking about fight every day, vote for 2v1 now. Ataraxia beats the trap, but he can't beat the boar, and now it's going to give a window for Vote to get back to safety. Or is it? Because guess who's coming?
He's right here,
Watch
ready
him
to
whip.
go.
Watch him nay.
Oh,
Vote wants to try and take the ride.
No,
Ataraxia,
dude,
why not? It had
like
to be done
this.
once. It needed once, man.
Not like this,
It
Hindu.
had to be done. Had to be done. Just once.
First, the Such Cold Scotty skin, and now this.
Had to be done. Tier 1 on the left goes down, but Rival on the right will also take a Tier 1 in response. But there's 2 members still on the left-hand side from Rival looking to try and aggress. It's maniaKK and Prime. Callus now coming in too. Twig's having to deal with Deathwalker, who's just keeping him on the front lines on this side. maniaKK's got a little bit too deep on the left, though. He could be in a bit of trouble in that Kuzenbo if Wlfy recognizes it.
But he's still level 17. He's not really that worried about it. Ataraxia showed up in the middle lane, and Deathwalker's going to fall. Ataraxia sings a song to the minions in celebration.
I will say Ataraxia's ult with that Petrify reminded me of his Giannis. Very much so. iceicebaby, though, in a bit of trouble here. CaptainTwig missing the ring, and this is what I'm talking about, a clown fiesta when ults are being missed everywhere. Double kills from bird bombs isn't something you see every day, and Wlfy's running for his life, trying to get away.
The Scarab's Blessing is enough there from Callus, and Vote wrapping around the backside. Prime just got baited there. Vote cleans him up. No detonates coming because Prime's dead.
Side, iceicebaby's in trouble as well, running away from him too, trying to defend, deal with the fact that EmilZy's on him at the same time. He will be picked up thanks to the help of him and CaptainTwig, picking up iceicebaby 12-23.
maniaKK running away from Vote, but
he's not really running. This is a bait.
Vote's got to be careful here.
It's a bait. And a minion wave as well. The maniaKK comes in. There's the Thorns. Bit of a mistake with the Thorns there for maniaKK, but the maniaKK did as much work as Tusky did.
And maniaKK still wants it. maniaKK thought about it, but knows he doesn't have enough movement speed to catch up to the quick little Artemis at the jungle there. So Vote realized that he was getting baited in that minion wave and immediately backed up.
And this is one of the things that I think I was expecting out of Kuzenbo, as we can see Obey trying to do the Fire Giant here and should be able to get it for free, is that with Kuzenbo, Mystical Mail is actually a really good item on him to make sure that people want to focus him. Because if you're going to try and ignore Kuzenbo, which is one of the best ways to deal with him, he's just going to do consistent damage to you the whole time with this Mystical Mail just ticking away.
That's true, and with how much fighting has been going on, I certainly don't mind this pickup here out of maniaKK, just sitting in front of these hunters. Excellent into this particular composition because of the double hunters for Rival. That's what maniaKK really wants to be in front of. It's everything that you want to pick Kuzenbo into. Multiple hunters and a burst mage. That's exactly what Kuzenbo excels at countering, and he picked it nicely.
Prime versus Deathwalker battle for the gods here between Bellona and Zeus. But the bad news is Medusa's on the way, and Deathwalker's in more trouble than he expected. Prime, he had a bit of squeaky bum time there. Luckily, Ataraxia was there, but trapped in the ring is two. But the Phantom this time will help Rival out of a sticky situation.
maniaKK plucked back in there by Callus, but immediately pushes his way out of danger. Ataraxia was on the left-hand side, remember, so no real tower damage available in the mid lane.
Meanwhile, Wlfy's left alone to take a tier 2 on the right-hand side, now looking towards a Phoenix. Obey still trying to siege up mid lane, look for the tier 2 themselves. Twig will step on the trap to absorb it, while the rest of his team focus on fighting Callus there. The Petrify from Ataraxia was good, forces Callus to ult himself. He'll fall down. iceicebaby hits 4 with the ultimate, but it's not enough to find a kill.
And maniaKK picks him up with the damage. Ataraxia fighting with Wlfy in that right side jungle, and Ataraxia gets the better of the mid laner. 9 kills right now for the hunter.
And now Vote MBK is trying to trade off, and he can't really do much to run away. Luckily, Deathwalker's back in time. The middle Phoenix is still standing, so the Titan isn't that easy. Ataraxia's only been left on his own. Obey just want a bloodbath. They just want to kill him. That's all they want to do.
They're walking into the Titan room. That's how bad they want the kills, but look at how there's still 2 tier 2 towers remaining, 2 Phoenixes. That Titan is far too tanky, even with 3 dead for Rival.
I don't think the Titan could bring down the 3 tanks though that Obey have. It would take him a hell of a long time, but I think that maniaKK alone could solo the Titan now.
No.
Yeah.
No. How tanky do you think he is?
Got the maniaKK to aggro as well. Just him and his abilities, he'll be fine. I reckon he could do it.
So Kuzenbo is just top tier because he can solo a
He's got
Titan.
Lion now as well. just add to the list even more damage output. This is the perfect build for Kuzenbo in the dream situation.
What if Kuzenbo, his spike shell, no, that's Khepri. What if Kuzenbo could just return part of the damage from the Titan swings onto the Titan? So like whenever you're starting to take more and more damage from the Titan, he just waits until that last swing and then one-shots it.
That'd be cool.
That'd be pretty cool.
But I don't think that would be very fair.
Who cares about fair?
We do, because we remove things like backdoor protections and things like that.
Well, that was just annoying. It wasn't anything about that. It was.
Well, that'd be annoying if you got Kuzenbo then assuming like, oh well, he's gonna just go on one shot.
Yeah,
so he
fine.
just walks in your base and one shots your Titan.
Yeah, what's
it's not annoying. Okay, I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that for future reference. Fire Giant still down for a little bit longer right now. 2 minutes time until the Fire Giant comes up. Team Rival grouped to this Portal Demon. This could be good for them. This could be very bad. The ring from CaptainTwig is available. And if he gets a good ultimate off onto some prime targets like iceicebaby right there, could spell problems. Blink over the wall from iceicebaby to get away, but Twig is still chasing.
He's got that speed buff. Use the knock-up with that Stone of Gaia. Twig really, really wants his kill onto iceicebaby. Good damage out of that Raven shield. The auto attacks are there. The crushing wave creates a little bit of space for iceicebaby, but Twig cleans him up.
Good news though, Vote on the left-hand side will get a bit of free farm and take a tier 2 tower to answer about the tier 2 tower that Obey are about to take on the right, but Twig's going for a double kill now. He's already taken out one and he wants another for himself. That tanky build he's got, he's hard to bring down with a Stone of Gaia.
He certainly is, but Vote does have some crit right now, at least in his passive, hasn't built any quite yet. That lifesteal from the Aussie coming
Go
up
back to the base, maniaK's coming from behind here. 3 members of Obey keeping 3 busy. Round the back comes maniaK with an amazing sumo charge that misses Wlfy, but now they'll invest into Deathwalker for a second. Dead 8 damage didn't do too much as Twig still fighting with Vote.
There's the ultimate out of Vote, and Twig immediately jumps away. Tusky lunges all the way over to that jump, but Twig, he's taking the fight. Vote, I don't think he's going to be able to live here.
No, the Aegis, now the ring comes up and Vote will fall down. Meanwhile, the Phoenix and the right has fallen. Obey may be able to close this out.
maniaKK, there's the watery grave right in front of iceicebaby. A big petrify out of Ataraxia puts him into the double digits in kills.
And now it's 31 to 12. 2 Phoenixes down, but the dive in the fountain here in celebration more than looking to end the game. They don't really have many minions with them. One is coming now to take aggro for a minute, but it doesn't look like Obey. Can Obey end it? I mean, they could, but they might not be able to now.
They certainly could have, but with the Titan's health resetting a little bit. Okay, Collis is dead, and Ataraxia just got 11 kills. He's got a lot of damage, but Twig was on the Titan all by himself. Wlfy cleans him up, but this should do it right here. If Obey focuses the Titan, and they do.
Eventually they do. Obey 2-0 against Rival. Game 1, very interesting. Obey looked very, very strong from game 1 from the outset. Game 2, Clown Fiesta.
Very, very interesting in game 2. I mean, you got to give it to. I mean, just a lot of brawling.
It was fun.
If you like the fights in Smite, then you were probably a big fan of game 2.
You saw some very cool plays in game 2, and I'm pretty sure the analyst, Tolly and Taka, will be standing by to break them down.
Thank you, Hindu Man. That was quite a performance out of Obey Alliance, winning those 3 points and now guaranteeing themselves the first place in the Masters Land.
I'm sure that Obey are more than excited to be able to go, knowing that they have first seed secured, but more importantly, just such a clean and dominant performance in every single one of their sets so far this season.
Absolutely. In game number 1, we saw a great performance out of almost everybody from Obey Alliance, specifically also out of the Chang'e. CaptainTwig pulling a page out of Eager's book here.
DJ Pernicus is quite the trend center when it comes to this Chang'e jungle, and CaptainTwig certainly had a very confident display on it, just utilizing his ultimate and his healing and kiting abilities to the best of his potential, just avoiding so much damage while dealing it at the same time.
You could definitely tell that he's been practicing this a lot of times in scrims, because not only is he confident running this pick in the jungle, but he's also playing it with the Sunder. He found a kill here at the end with the Sunder. He set up his ultimate earlier on with the Sunder. How confident do you actually have to be to perform like this in the SPL?
Part of that is just a whole jungler mindset. I mean, he knows that there is a decent amount of pressure being put onto him to set up his team properly, and I think that the Sunder on Chang'e is actually a really safe pickup, considering that she does technically have an Aegis already with the 2 in her kit.
And something we haven't really seen too much in the highlights, he is here, maniaKK, doing a great job zoning. There were so many opportunities for him to just zone 1v2, 1v3. He even avoids a Thor and a Scylla ultimate. That has to be the most obnoxious thing coming out of your soul laner.
Well, Hindu and Agra actually made a very valid point during that match, in that it seemed as though they just weren't dealing any damage to maniaKK, but partially because of the fact he was just juking everything, and then on top of that, he just snowballed so far ahead so early on, it just becomes almost impossible to deal with an Osiris at that stage.
They weren't doing any damage because of Ullr's healing, 24,000 compared to only the 2 out of Team Rival. And that's what happens whenever you have Chang'e jungle and the Terra support. Team Rival just couldn't really handle in that healing, but in game number 2, it was a different theme. It was the healing towards just the tanky targets out of Obey Alliance.
I mean, you don't really need a whole lot of sustain coming through. Obey had an excellent front line as well as so much peeling potential because of the fact that they opted to draft those 3 Guardians. Fun time seeing Kuzenbo coming out as well, the Nene Kappa. That's always a fun display, but it was actually just massive amounts of peel. Just no way really for the brawls to be anything more than just massive team fights because, I mean, everybody was just going ham.
They was doing a good job of EmilZy all the ways in the backline along with maniaKK. EmilZy playing the Fafnir in this game number 2 was doing a great job zoning and then setting up his teammates, as well as maniaKK playing Kuzenbo for the very first time.
And the Kuzenbo for the very first time combined alongside of a Fafnir just opens up so much fighting potential for the side of Obey. Ataraxia able to get in cleanly most of the time. I mean, we saw a scoreline at the end of the game was even 11-1, so definitely plenty of feel for him to have fun.
Now, Team Rival definitely had the damage with the Habwa in the early to mid game, but then it all just turns around once you have these tanky targets right there with a double dunk coming out of CaptainTwig. Their damage is just a little bit too high to handle, and Team Rival couldn't really do as much damage compared to Obey in the endgame.
It just becomes so difficult, especially considering that more often than not, Rival kept trying to persuade through these fights that they were already having a lot of downfall considering that they were so far behind. And yet they were continuously trying to come out on top. And whenever you're fighting into a losing scenario, it's just never favorable to your team.
Definitely not. And we see the damage mitigated between these two teams. As the late game progressed, these tanky targets out of Obey Alliance was too much for Rival. The difference there, 60,000 in that category. That's not usually a category that's normally discussed, but in the SPL where this kind of stuff matters, everything that you can min-max matters.
I mean, 130,000 is certainly not a number to scoff at in the slightest. When you have that much mitigation, that just goes to show how difficult these team fights actually were for Rival and just how unable to find any sort of comeback potential there was in the game.
Absolutely. And with those 2 wins, Obey Alliance does secure themselves the first seed heading into the Masters land. But you can also secure your spot in the caster.tv. You head over there, submit your 1-minute video for a chance to win $10,000.
And with $10,000, everybody knows what follows after. Gems and booster packs.
Oh man, that's a lot of gems. That's a lot of boosters packs. Well, don't forget to do that. But we have more Smite action for you guys after this set. It's going to be Elevate versus Sanguine Esports after a short break. Don't go anywhere.